Hi, guys and girls. Right now, we're going to talk about basic sketching and geometric instructions. In fact, we're going to spend time on geometric instructions. This is old style board drafting. We're going to talk about some of the basic tools here, some of the basic things we'll use. You might, in fact, a lot of you probably do have these things around the house right now, or in all honesty, you really only need, honestly, what you need is a straight edge, and I usually use a triangle like this one you can see here. Okay. Or just a rolling ruler. I like my rolling rulers because it makes it so I can do kind of board drafting without having to have a board set up. No parallel bar, no drafting machine. Keeps my lines parallel if I need them to be parallel, or I can kind of use it like a T-square and make perpendicular lines pretty easy. I just have to be able to move both together. Things you want to have handy if you're going to do this. A straight edge. Doesn't matter what the straight edge looks like. Doesn't matter the size. I've got a couple of different ones. I've got some clear ones. I'm not putting them out because when I put a clear one down on the table, you really can't see it. So I use my orange ones here. I like these smaller ones, honestly, for most of the stuff I do. I've taped my paper down to my desk just so it doesn't move right now. Other things, you can see some of the stuff here. I have some old, I use 2mm lead quite often still. I still have a few lead pointers around. It's really handy, and if you look at the ends of these, like those right there, I've got a 4H, an HB, and a 4B. Remember, H is for hard, B is for black. So the higher the number on the B, the softer the lead is. This is pretty soft lead. This is about normal for most of the stuff we do. This is for this is what actually this one in the middle is the one I use for my construction lines. It's actually a 6H, and it draws such light lines they're darn hard to see. 4H is pretty good for that too. I do have to have a lead pointer if I do that. But those are some of the tools I use all the time. You can probably still get most of them. For me, the most important tool is straight edge of some sort, my pencil, and I use mechanical most of the time, and then my scale. Now, let's talk scales for a minute. So I've got actually two kinds of scales in here. These are both tri-scales. Notice they're triangular. If I turn them on end, you'll be able to see they're triangular shaped. But one is an architect scale and one is an engineering scale. If I turn that one that way, actually, let's turn it that way. You can probably read the word engineering right there. That means this is a base 10 scale. So over here on the corner, you'll see a 10. Over here on this far edge, if I bring it over where you can see it, there's a 50. I rotate it around, there's a 40. And if I slide it the other way so you can see the other end, there's a 20. What that means is from there to there are 20 ticks, but that's 1 inch in reality. Okay, so I measure that. That's 1 inch, 20 ticks. This is a closed scale. Okay, which means it's marked all the way down it. It allows me to literally draw anything at a scale 1 to 20. The ratio of size is 1 inch to 20 inches, 1 inch to 20 feet, 1 inch to 20 miles, 1 inch to 200 inches, 1 inch. It's just a base of, I've got a base setup right there that I can work off of. Okay, so, and it goes all the way around. I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. Yeah. So I've got 6 sides to work with there. This other one is an architect scale, which is the one I use a lot in my stuff. This side has a 16 in the corner. That's a regular 16th inch ruler. So every one of those ticks is a 16th of an inch. Then I can see a 3/16 here and a 3/32 right there. What that means is this. Counting from this way going across, every tick is 3/32 of an inch apart. So from there to there, from there to there. So if I count over, see 1, 2, 3, 4. From that 0, that's 1 at the 62, 2, 3, 4 at the 4. Notice how that 4 lines up with that 0? That's 4 feet. Okay. In an architect scale, everything is base feet. Okay. It's 1 inch equals however many feet, or whatever fraction of an inch equal how many feet. Okay. Now, from this side, it's 3/16. Notice how the 0 is lower and it lines up with that 2. So that means that tick right there is 1. That's 2. This longer tick right here is 3, 4. Longer tick is 5, 6. Longer tick is 7, 8. That's how that works. Now, normally, most common scales are, and I'm going to take my little holder off here, rotate this around. Like so. The most common scale in architecture is still the 1/4 inch to a foot scale. Now, here's how this works again. That 0 is right there. That longer tick is 1. That's 2. So that's 2 feet from there to there. Now, I didn't talk about these before. These, if you count them, there's 12 of them. Every one of those ticks means an inch. So I can be accurate down to 1 inch at a 1/4 inch equals a foot scale. Now, if you look opposite it right here, there's the 0, there's 1. That's 1 inch from there to there, but it's also 1 inch from here over to this end. And notice I can see the 3, 6, 9. Well, if I look close, I've broken that down to quarters of an inch. I can be accurate down to 1/4 of an inch at 1 inch equals a foot scale. That's what we use for details. We don't use it for normal drawings. That's almost always for details. This is what we use for most drawings, most common scale used. And if you look, you'll notice opposite it, the opposite end is an 1/8 coming back. This is a 1/2. If I rotate around 3/4, 3/8, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and then 3 inches over here. So that's how we're going to use those. Now, that's basic scales. There's lots of different forms of them. I do have a couple of pocket scales laying around. These are just simple little handy ones you can drop in your pocket, and they're flat. It's a beveled edge. Okay, it's a double bevel instead of the tri-scales. They work great for most of the stuff I do. But as far as drawing goes, I need a paper, I need a straight edge. Now, the only really other tools I ever need, and this is for mechanical only, would be some sort of a circle template or a compass. Now, I've got a compass here. I prefer a compass to a circle template. You'll see why shortly when we start doing some geometric instructions. But basically, that compass comes in very handy when I start making marks on the page. So if I'm drawing, and I'm just making a straight line, okay, that's it. That's how it is. Now, notice how I place my pencil. As I draw it, I'm actually rotating my pencil to make a dark line and make it so I commit to that line. It's good and dark. If I want it light, I use less pressure and I draw very lightly. Let's put one next to it that's very light. Notice how I've got an offset from my pencil tip to the edge of the straight edge. That's so I don't end up dragging lead across my page. So I can draw very lightly too. So that would erase a lot easier than that. Okay, and that's the whole point of it. Now, as far as erasing goes, most of my erasers are white erasers, old-fashioned block erasers. I have a lot of them, various forms. There's a Staedtler, there's an Alvin. They're just white erasers. I prefer the whites. Some people use knead erasers. It's just up to you. Pink erasers work fine. Pinks, in my experience, do leave a pink residue behind sometimes. And the most important thing to remember when erasing, don't brush with your hand. Don't ever do that. You will smear everything you've got all over your page. If you don't have it, you can get it a dusting brush. I'm actually going to see if I have one hiding in my drawer, because for the most part, when I demo, I draw with ink, so it stands out really well, and just to commit to the lines. But a dusting brush is really, really handy. I have lots of laying around the labs. We'll break them out and we'll use them quite often. So when you're doing that, you'll need that. The only other thing I sometimes have around is an eraser shield. An eraser shield is like a reverse template. I think I've shown them to you before. Basically, it makes it so that when I erase, I don't leave a smudge behind. Now, that went away, and yes, I'm rubbing it with my fingers as I just told you not to. But that's because I erased all of it. Okay, that line no longer exists at all. So we're in good shape there. Now, I'm going to stop. I'm going to upload this so you guys can see what's up with this stuff. You can look around and find your tools you need for your sketching. Then I'm going to show you some basic geometric instructions, and that's going to lead us into drawing your inventions, your designs by hand. Thanks. Bye.